Go.
So, greetings, everyone that is here. We are here again for our conversation, just our parent talk. You all know we started this a couple of weeks ago in hopes to connect with other parents to just have a place to, come and be able to talk about different things that parents face, what's going on. And we know currently we are all living in this COVID-19 coronavirus time. So could you let Kenyatta in? We are dealing with this time right now. So most of our conversations are around this because, this is so prevalent right now, right? And what everyone's dealing with. And today I wanted to talk about self-care, right? Like self-care during COVID. It's important. It's important. We as parents know that it is. I don't think we take the proper time to care for ourselves. And I also believe I just wanted to kind of hear from and ask a couple of questions and see how people are doing now, because I know this is an even more stressful time, and our lives already are stressful with a lot going on, and us not creating that time for us in those times. How in the hell are we doing it now? And if we're not doing it, how will we start to do it? So first, I want to definitely just shout everyone out. Thanks everyone for being in. On Rebecca, Ashley, Kim, Kenyatta, Chris, William. I know we are expecting a couple of other folks to get on, and they'll just come on. But let's first start off with just a simple, where are you at in this moment? Like, how do you feel right now in this moment? And I will shift that question first to Ashley.
Right now where I am is, first it was confusion. It was a lot more confusion. It's still confusion, but I'm not as confused and discombobulated as I was at the very start of quarantine. It was like leaving home was my self-care. When I leave to go to school, that was my thing. So it's like, okay, y'all taking away my thing. What am I going to do? I'm a great parent. I know how to parent. But it's like, okay, now I'm addressing them all day. All my children have different things that they need catered to. And it's like, now I have to manage it more. So instead of having just from after school to bedtime, it's all day long. So the all day long is like really, stressful. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I don't have enough devices laying around to do the things at school. So it was like, take a deep breath, just stop. You can do this. You can pick it up and do it however you want to do it, and then just go from there. So once I took a deep breath and thought about it, it was like, okay, now I really do need to think about self-care. And it was crazy because when I was found out the topic for today was self-care, I was like, this is what I'm in the midst of trying to figure out. Like, I'm trying to figure this thing out right now. I'm used to, my self-care was good enough for me to just go to school. So now I was like, okay, what do I have to do? I went to the store the other day and I bought some coloring books and some color pencils. And I'm like, I'm going to color. I like to color. I like to create and do crafts. So I bought some stuff for myself. That's what I did. I went to the store. I didn't really need to spend over an hour in the store, but I did. I just took that time and just did it. And I didn't really need nothing. I bought a bunch of stuff, of course, but I didn't really need it. I just got it because I'm in the house. So what I did was bought a bunch of t-shirts, tie-dye. I'm like, I'm just going to do some stuff. So that's what my weekend is going to look like. Like my whole weekend is basically me doing fun stuff. So I'm trying to knock out all my homework and stuff now. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Let's throw that question to you, Ms. Kim. How are you right now in this moment? How do you feel? What's going on with Miss Kim?
I'm a little exhausted. I'm trying to figure out, self-care. I have no idea besides going to sleep at night. I have no idea. I don't. I'm looking for some suggestions. I'm not doing much of anything.
Okay. All right. Kenyatta, let's pick on you. How is King? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you just take a bite of something? You want me to wait?
Yeah.
What I've been doing is just focusing on staying active. I know that when I get up before the children and, I take my walk and, just get a breather in, that my days go a lot smoother. So even if, the days might not always be structured, like bam, 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 schoolwork, because I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher, but I do the best that I can. But just me being able to get up before them helps my days to go a lot more smoother, a little bit more planned. I don't feel so overwhelmed so easily when I do that. So again, just getting up in the morning, I walk from my house to Montebello and back, and then for me that's like 3 miles. So I feel accomplished, like, oh, I got that 3 miles. So each day I'm trying to, shave off my time or whatever. And that's pretty much it. I mean, every now and again have a sip of that wine because that's part of the self-care for me. So that's pretty much what it looks like for me.
Okay. Anybody else itching to tell what they have going on right now, or how they're doing like right now? Anyone else? All right. So Rebecca, I'm going to start this question with you and ask you, what message do you need right now?
Well, I think the struggle for me this week has been the quantity of stuff to do for school for my little person. It was just too much. What was asked of her was too much. And so this is not really answering your question exactly yet.
Okay.
But, what I did with that stress was that I reached out to the other parents in my daughter's class, and I asked them sort of, how are things going for you? And I realized from hearing their responses that I just needed to not do some things with her. So we're doing about half of what is asked of her, and she's 6, and I feel like that is appropriate. And I needed to reach out to people to be able to feel good about that instinct, which is what everything was telling me, everything about the experience was telling me, do less, this is not good for her. And sure enough, today, you could tell the whole day was going to be a protest. And I was like, okay, we're doing just these little things. And we made it through, and it was okay. And then we just played, and we needed to play because we sort of lost the connection. So for me, the message that I need for myself is do what makes sense for your child, and do what makes sense for you so that you can maintain harmony. So the message is really trust yourself, even though there are expectations out there. Nobody knows better what your kid needs than you.
Right.
Most of the time. I mean, there's times when that's not true, but I think most of the time that's true. And so to trust, my message is trust yourself, do only what makes sense right now. And I think especially in this time, to be just extra generous and extra gentle with myself is really important. And that's not my, I'm usually a little intense about the way that I take things on, and it's just not the time for that.
Right.
So,
okay.
Slow down is my message.
Slow down. Chris.
I think the message that I need to hear right now was the question, correct?
Yes.
Stay strong. So a lot of people are just feeling helpless and concentrating on all the negatives. It's a lot of good things going on right now. And I think the most under-recognized thing is that this is time that you're spending with your family and your loved ones that you could literally not pay for. I mean, I know everything else is a little on the stressful side, but I work 12-hour days. I've seen my kids for 12 hours every day. That's a big difference. So I'm accepting that and not focusing so much on the things that I don't have, but more of the things that I've gained from this time. So, you know, just stay strong and stay focused.
Okay. All right. William?
I need to know the outcome of this situation. I don't mean from the medical perspective, because I sense a great shift in our society. And I hear more and more people talking about this being the new normal. I've been hearing some murmurings about school systems and other institutions becoming a place of distance, even as we go through the summer. Today was the first time I heard someone say that, you know, that this may affect us long term in terms of how we respond, or not respond, but react to one another in society. So I really would like to know, you know, from all the people that know that are above us in terms of decision making, what's the plan? You know, because I know that some of these decision makers are not simply going moment by moment, hour by hour. They're not monitoring CDC and NIH for the next move. These moves, I think, are already planned, and I feel like I'm starting to see that kind of unravel. And so I would like a clear message from that standpoint, because I need to know, you know, I would feel more secure in how I'm going to manage my life from that standpoint. Because right now, you know, we've been talking about this off and on, you feel distance from people. Like, you know, you have your strangers who you don't know, who you wouldn't necessarily be close with physically. But now when you go out into the street and into the market, into the world, I just sense a greater even distance than before. Because everyone is so skeptical about what's going on. So the message I need to know is, you know, what's coming up for us? What is society going to look like in a few months?
Yeah, that's wow. Like, I think everybody would I know. But Ashley, what about you? And I am going to ask everybody this question and then share, and then lead into the next, just so y'all know with this one. But Ashley and then Kenyatta.
What's my question?
What message do you need to hear right now? Like,
I have a message. I don't think I need to hear one right now, but I have one.
Okay.
And it's also pertaining to something somebody said earlier. What is self-care? Self-care can be mental, spiritual, physical. You could take a walk, reading the Bible, joining one of the virtual online church things if you're into that. Mental activity, you know, stimulating your mind, finding something to do. Is self-care goes a lot of different ways, even with your sleep, your nutrition, diet, managing your stress. So that was my message. If you didn't know what you could do for self-care, is many different things. Even making a healthy meal, you know, self-care.
Okay.
And sipping wine with it.
Kenyatta. I figured wine would be a popular one. It was very popular a while ago, like last year sometime we did like a self-care event and wine was very popular. Kenyatta, is there a message that you you know, feel you need to hear or would like to hear?
I think, just a little joke, but wine was definitely one of those must-haves for me. While people were grabbing toilet paper, I was grabbing wine. Like, you know what? I'm gonna need this. But one thing I think needs to be shared more often is that I think that people need to like kind of relax on their expectations of what they think that people should be doing with this free time, for lack of better words, because the self-care piece is going to be different for everybody. Self-care for some people may be like this break, right? This break that we have right now, it may look like for a person who's constantly at work, like you said, 12 and 16-hour shifts. And so for them during this break, all they may want to do is rest. They may not be a person who's like, okay, how am I going to come out of this with my next business move, or what online classes am I going to take? You know, that's not going to be the same for everybody. And you see this so often, people being judgmental and want to, you know, tell people how they should be spending their time. And I think, I mean, I guess so the message would be like, mind your own business. Mind the business that pays you, and do what
I like that.
works for you and your best, you know, what works best for you and your household. Because, you know, like, again, it's just going to look different for everybody. So no, everybody doesn't have to be sitting up here trying to write up a business proposal or business plan, or, you know, or trying to lose weight or whatever. Like, let people do what works best for them. So that's all I got to say.
Okay. Kim, did I ask Kim already? I wasn't sure. I don't think so.
No.
Kim.
I think my message would be, it's okay. Every day is going to be different, and that's okay. And I need to just flow with what the day unfolds. You know, have some structure in there, because you know that's my personality. But knowing that it's okay, it's going to be okay.
It's okay. Yeah, I was thinking that at first. So for me, like, at first I was thinking that I was kind of going between. What you're doing is good enough, and you know it's okay and everything. But I think for me, I need to hear, what I want to hear or know, or messages more so something like, there are how do I want to say it? Like something like there are more of us out there. And when I say more of us, I'm talking about like us parents and us people who, you know what I mean, like feel like unity and a certain sense of togetherness will help us get through this, right? Like I don't think that because even just thinking about, right, like thinking about at home and figuring out what I need to do for me and the girls and my own household and all that stuff like that, like, you know, that's okay. It varies. It's up, it's down, with more ups and downs and all that stuff. But in all actuality, to really maintain and get through this, that has been from other entities, right? It's been other entities kind of connecting with me and through me, and you know what I'm saying, like that I really feel like yeah, that's good. Just so I guess just knowing that other people are out here like this, you know what I mean, like trying to connect with other people and help other people is like what I need to know. Like that's just what I need to hear. Like I need to hear or know that it's not just us. And I know it, right? Like I know it probably is, but like just I want to see it as something. I want to know it. We're doing, y'all know, we're doing the drive, you know, with the technology and stuff. And so just to kind of hear when we first started talking about it, it was like nobody heard of nobody else doing anything. You know, we couldn't find anything. But now since it's been talking around it, it's like, okay, so other people are doing this. So that kind of gave me a sense of, like, I felt good earlier, right? Knowing that, like, you know, we do have robotics and there are other organizations that's actually out here pushing and feel the same way we do, because we were kind of like, in my opinion, we were stopped with, yeah, it's important to get technology in the hands, but, you know, it needs to be done in, you know, in a way that's going to take long. And for me, in my mind, and I think for a lot of us here, and that's what I mean by people like us, like we see the sense of urgency, you know what I mean, that's behind it. And like, we need something now. We know we can't fix every situation or get it for everybody. But if we, you know, if we're able to help a few hundred more kids connect and, you know, feel that, like Kenyatta said something earlier, I'll let her share her own thing when she wants to, but like that was like, that was like amazing. You know what I mean? Like that was so dope and good to me to know that. And I know even for other parents, that'll bring them joy. So yeah, so for me, I just need to know that other people are out there and feeling like there's really a sense of urgency for, you know, our, not just our kids getting what they need, but even us, you know, getting what we need and taking care of ourselves and all of that good kind of stuff, like that during this time. So, all right, y'all, I'm sorry. Like, my phone is like blowing up and I have no idea. All right, leave me alone. I know what that is about. That's good stuff from earlier. So check out the news tonight. Shout out anybody watching. Y'all go check out the news. We should be on the news. Tonight we were pretty much covered by every station except for Fox 45. But it's all good. So I had a great press conference. They were there, so that was all good just for y'all to know. But anyway, what is it that people do when they're stressed?
Eat. Definitely. I mean, I'm not. I mean, of it, but I'm definitely like an emotional eater, and I'm learning to pay better attention to what my triggers are, so that I don't go back to being a person who has to constantly worry about my weight or constantly worry about my health. So, but yeah, I just try to find better things to eat now. But I'm still gonna eat, but just better things to eat.
Anybody else want to say what they do when they're stressed? What do you normally do when you're stressed?
I like to cook.
You like to cook?
Chris. Yeah, I like to cook.
Oh, so, okay.
I have a bad habit though. I don't pick a meal to cook. I want to cook like 3 different types of meals. It's like a smorgasbord. So, unless you got a lot of people to sit around and eat, which is not the case at the current moment. It's a good thing when you have a lot of family. So I used to do it on Sundays, and I used to do it at my dad's house. So, everybody can make a little request, and I just made sure I cooked. It's a great stress reliever for me.
Okay. Who else? What do you do when you're stressed, Rebecca?
Well, when I'm stressed, a lot of times I retreat. I get really, really quiet. I get more controlling. I get more perfectionistic. These are my tendencies. But I want to control the outcome of things. What I should do when I'm stressed, because I think this question could be answered 2 ways. What helps me when I'm stressed is doing things like yoga that slow me down, getting outside, anything physical, talking to friends, getting perspective, anything that helps me bring myself back to some sort of status quo that like things are okay. You make it through things change. That reminds me of my flexibility and my nimbleness to be able to adapt to something rather than try to control it.
So you jumped in. The reason why I saved this, reason why I asked the questions this way, and I asked about the stress, because that's what I wanted us to kind of like not leave, but as we get closer to the end, it's like to think about what, when I say what do you do when you're stressed, is to kind of exactly what you said, to reverse that and to say what will be good for you to do when you're stressed, right? And think about that as a form of self-care for us right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was thinking, because I know as parents, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but for me, people can say don't panic, don't worry, and it's gonna be freaking impossible right now, right? Like, not to do it. And unless somebody can give me concrete ways of how to do that, I kind of don't want. I mean, you could say it, speak your opinion, but I really don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that. So instead of telling me that, like, I feel like that's why, that's what we should be doing now, is thinking of, we know what we do when we're stressed, but what should we do when we're stressed? You know what I'm saying? And like, so that's what I wanted us to kind of get to on the question. So since you took us there, Rebecca, and we have a little bit more time, we'll kind of discuss that down the line, and I will ask y'all to also, Rebecca did, but think about it, like what makes y'all stressed, but then also what do y'all feel like y'all, what would help with it when you're stressed out, instead of just what you do, what could you do to help with the stress?
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, sure. Say 2 things.
So I feel like one of the things that this is pushing me to consider is that while I do things that are about self-care, I don't do them as a practice. Like, I don't have a daily practice where I do yoga, or a daily practice of, breathing, or whatever, whatever my things are. I sort of do them when I can. And I blame it on, you know, being busy and being a parent. But right now, like it's a necessity. And so I feel like, and I can really see the difference, like when there are certain people that walk with peacefulness. And like, William, I'm going to call you out. You're one of those people that whenever I see you, you are, and I know you're going through things, but you just walk with real peace. Right. And so I do. And I think it's, you know, I know you're a spiritual man, and and you know, that's not that I don't pray per se, but I just feel like there's something about that, like intentionality about connecting with something that is larger than you, that is good, that is love, however it comes to you, that this is the time to develop a practice. And because I'm not religious, like I do have to kind of figure out what that looks like for me. And there's not a clear, maybe this is for everybody, even if you have a religion that kind of gives you some parameters for how you practice it. I do think this is a time to develop a practice. If people don't already have one.
Mm-hmm.
That was just my.
Cool, Cam. Let's go down the line. Rebecca just all in my head, because that's I'm gonna repeat what she said.
Yeah.
That's what I needed for me. Like I know that's what I need to deal with stress now, because I've gotten away from it. Right. I'm not gonna talk. Go ahead, Cam.
Oh, I think when I'm stressed, I clean. I over clean.
Mm-hmm.
Laundry, you know, dusting. Yeah, I clean. But I think what I'd like to build into my daily routine is meditation, like some time to just sit, think, and breathe, and really, really take it in. I don't do a lot of that, and I think I'd like to start doing that.
Mm-hmm. Miss Ashley?
Should give yourself what's called pleasurable goodies. So pleasurable goodies can be
this
wine.
Is rated. Go ahead.
It could be wine.
Mm-hmm.
It could be taking a bath. It could be watching a movie. And you know, we social distancing and we're stuck at home. So these are things that you can do at home. You can gather, you know, all the family, put the kids in a room and have them do a task while you just be you and have a moment to yourself, listen to some music, sing, do stuff that's pleasurable to you, because everybody's pleasurable goodie is not the same. Like I might like to sing, but you may like to write poetry. You know what I'm saying? So find out whatever makes you happy and just do it. Just take the time and create the space to just do it.
Okay, cool. Kiana?
So, to piggyback off of what Rebecca said, I just want to be more consistent. And I like what I've been doing so far, which is, again, like I said, I get up before the children, because if I get up before them, like I noticed that if I don't get up before them, then I allow them to dictate how my day was going to go. And normally it's going to be shitty at this point, because they done woke me up out of my sleep. You know, they screaming and hollering. So if I beat them, if I wake up before them, I can dictate the where I want my day to go. I have a little bit more control over that. I know y'all probably don't believe it, but I am a social butterfly. Like I make friends like wherever I go. I do like to talk, you know, once I get to know you. But like being in the house, really, like being in the house is like, and I love to go outside. Like being in the house, it really was starting to do something to me. And then, you know, when, like you said, you watching the news coverage and it's like, well, you can't go outside, you can't do this and you can't do that. And I'm like, all right, I already spent my birthday in the house. And so like, this was kind of, I'm not going to say kind of being rebellious a little bit, you know, getting that walk on or whatever, because, you know, you got to find a loophole somewhere. Y'all know I like to find my loophole. So I found a loophole like, okay, we social distancing, but if I'm walking 6 feet away from you and I'm walking by myself and I'm doing this for my health and my well-being, then I'm winning. So that made me feel a whole lot better. I'm able to be consistent now, you know, since we are pretty much have to be at home. I want to be consistent even when we do get a little bit more normalcy back. So, yeah.
Mr. Smooth Guy himself, Mr. Don't Show It, Mr. William.
Well, Rebecca, thank you for the shout out. Yeah, I mean, the blessing for me is, you know, in this new reality that we have, I'm able to wake up, pray. I was doing it every day, but now I really get a chance to kind of invest more time in prayer. The blessing is I can read the scriptures throughout the day, you know, dedicate more time to that. And yeah, I mean, the Most High, God is really my roots and my centering and my grounding. I do get stressed. And again, the blessing is that I have a loved one. I can talk to her all the time. You know, my TDP family is becoming my venting and sounding board, you know. Shout outs to Shuri, aka Chris, and Tyrone, you know, and Rebecca hears some of it. So, you know, that's really helpful. That's really helpful. And, you know, Kenyatta, I know men don't discuss this often, but some of us eat under stress and duress too. And men will never have to face the kind of criticism that women do in our society for it. But that's something that I had to step away from, because it's imperiling, you know. And, you know, as a member of the Black community, that's something that's haunted us. Poor eating, which is something that was learned, taught to us, and we've just continued to perpetuate that. And so, but what you said, Kenyatta, was great, because you're just replacing those things that are bad for you with things that are good for you. And so having a time and a place of peace, I call it prayer, other people call it meditation or reflection, I think is an important part of anybody's day. And especially now when the world is just uncertain. And what's funny is the world was uncertain before. We just thought we knew. We thought we had more control than we did. We've never had control. We thought it was an illusion. And this moment shows you just how much of an illusion that it is. And that's why for me, I don't trust in a lot of the man-made trappings that, you know, that kind of get us stuck into believing a certain thing. But yeah, I mean, that's it for me. And I mean, besides that, getting out of the house, exercising, movement always, to me, seems to help alleviate stress, and it raises your endorphins, makes you a happier, or at least more energetic person. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can just be, you know, sitting in a chair, standing up, sitting back down, you know, doing that a few times, just movement. It helps you, it helps the body. So I try to incorporate all of those things.
Okay, cool. I know I asked Christian, so yeah, so for me to go back, Rebecca, you know, she hit on it. I grew up spiritual, right? I mean, I grew up in church, and then I studied Islam for a while. Then I studied, I've studied a few different religions throughout my life, just kind of seeking, you know, what fit for me, right, and what worked for me. And then getting a little older, I kind of stepped away from all of them, because I was just like religion is BS. It's so much that come with it. But just in this time now and dealing with this and stressing. So for me, when I get stressed out, you know, at one point, I mean, it's recorded. I'm never ashamed of anything. And my past is what it is. But, you know, one time I could pick up a joint, okay, and smoking, that would relieve me for a moment. But then reality would come back. And I was never one to like, I've never done, and that's what I'm proud of. I would never done drugs, and a drug is a drug. So I'm not like, you know, I've never done, you know, I'm better because I only smoked weed and didn't do crack. A drug is a drug. But I never was one that felt like I needed to, get high off of something else, right? If that didn't work. I'm not a big drinker, so I don't keep drinking or anything like that either. But so it's just like what works for me. With my kids getting older, like I used to could just hold my daughter and as a baby and look and smile and like that would make everything better, right? Like, I mean, it didn't matter what it was, just seeing them, a baby and like this came from you and, just being proud of being a single parent and all that stuff and raising like all that, like that, those are stripped, but all of that stuff changed. And it's like going through life now, things that worked for me before, it's not working in this time now, right? Like, it's not the same for me. So it just took me to like I really need to find, I have to make some type of spiritual connection and have some type of spiritual guidance, during this time. I think that's going to be the only way for me. So I've just kind of like pledged to commit, time and every day to, seek and find that and figure that out. But not just having to be stressed to do it, but just kind of get centered in that in my life, period. Yeah, that's for me. So and then I kind of wanted to challenge all of us that was here. I was expecting someone else to call in too that was going to share something with you all that was going to be a part of the show. I kind of can, but I don't know what's going on with that situation. But I wanted to challenge everyone here to write down, like, once we finish this call, if those who are willing to share, for us to kind of share and put it out there, like, on a post, I think it would be helpful. I am going to step outside of my little box. I'm open, but I'm open to an extent, right? Like, people know what I want them to know. And that's just how I've been. But I'm actually going to step out there and open up a little bit more and like share some other stuff with people. So I kind of challenge you all to do that too, like write down the same thing, like what centers you to give other parents ideas, and thoughts on what could help them during this time. Ashley, that could be very helpful for someone to tell them their, I forget, you said something goodies. I can't remember the exact word. Passionable? Pleasurable goodies. Yeah, that pleasurable threw me off a little bit. That pleasurable, it threw me off a little, like, okay, we are keeping this rated R, but seriously though, like to share, with other parents, because again, that's what this space is for. We've not connected with, a larger group of parents yet, but every week it may be one new face, or something like that. And again, for me, it's good because, having you all in it as we continue to add on, and we're going to find other ways to open this up to others, like they will come. But just hearing from like-minded people, I think makes all the difference in the world. So we would, kind of commit to sharing and putting that out there. As we're talking to people that we know, just kind of remember to tell them to do something to care for themselves. Whatever it is, it might not be a whole lot, but whatever it is, just it's 5 minutes to yourself. I'm saying whatever it is, just like take time to do that, because the fact is, as much as we care about our babies and want anything to happen, if we ain't good, they ain't good. Right? If we're no good, or we're completely stressed out, or overwhelmed, or whatever the case might be. I heard a story from someone. I'm not going to. Well, yeah, I'm not going to say who. I heard a story from someone who basically had said that their child had called them out and saying like pretty much that you aren't all right, or I want you to be okay. And it just I said to that person too, like, yeah, like our babies know more than we think they know. When we may think that we're hiding stuff, or we're not trying to show them our stresses and all that stuff, they know it. Our energy change. Energy is real, and they pay very close attention to us. And so do others around us. William only been around us for a little bit of time, but you see, like, he's already become this. This smooth, cool, kind of collected dude, kind of don't know you know what I mean, what's going on and stuff like that, unless he tells, and that's a good thing. I don't, you know, or I don't know how people see it, but we had a conversation before, and I know they would just say, I asked him, like, how do you just be cool, you know what I mean, with everything going on around you? And it was just like, it was just like, you just kind of do it. How the hell do you do it? Like, I need to know. Yeah, but again, I don't know, just kind of hearing stuff and sharing. So I just ask y'all to share with other people if you're in contact with another parent or just a human being, period. Just remind them to do something to, make themselves smile, or you try to do something to make them smile. You know what I mean? Even in social distancing, it's ways to do stuff. Reach out to a stranger, I don't know, any damn body, and just pick a friend off your friend list and just send them a good note, you know what I mean? Or something. Just say, I'm thinking of you today, and think of yourself. Take a 5-minute, whatever. Y'all be creative with that. Yeah.
So I'm having a thought about this. There's a book that I admit I didn't read the whole thing, but I read the first book. It's a book called Sapiens, and it talks about the history of people as a species. And it's fascinating and, historical and also a little bit dry. But there's a part where you're talking about how when we changed from being hunter-gatherers to a more agricultural society, when we were hunter-gatherers, it would take us 3 to 4 hours a day to secure food. And that's what we kind of like, every day we woke up and we, figured out how to get food. And after 3 to 4 hours, like, our task for the day was done. And so when we became an agricultural society, we then had to think about the future in a different way. So we had to plan our crops for next year. We had to get enough land so that if we had a bad crop year, we'd have enough that we could sustain through that bad year to a better year. And we developed a sense of time and a sense of greed and a sense of belongings, and the mindset really shifted. And when I read that, it made me want to do all sorts of things, like go travel and like get rid of all my belongings. But it was a fantasy. But there was something about that idea of like waking up each day and thinking about, I'm going to secure food for the day. Mm-hmm. And, people moved around, they were nomadic, they didn't have dwellings that stayed in one place. And just that idea of like being present with your needs right now and not thinking about, because I think a lot of stress comes from the worry about the future. And so I think if we can be in the present moment, and whether that's prayer or whether that's meditation or whether that's yoga or taking a walk, I think that's the practice of like, be in the present moment, let go of the worry of the future. And there's plenty to worry about all the time, and certainly right now. But I think that's the aha for me is it's about being present, and whatever brings you to the present moment, that's the practice.
Nice. Could you share that title? I mean, I don't know who's interested, but I do this with my kids. I do this with my kids here, and I mean, y'all don't have to. Y'all might can say, Tyrone, I had enough of your ass. I don't want to see you anymore, talk to you anymore than this. But like but a book like that, no, because I'm thinking, it might be like that book, right? So let me see the sides of it. Is it really big? Oh no, I don't know if I'm gonna read that one. I was gonna suggest.
Right now it's on audiobooks at if you have a library card at the Enoch Pratt Library, you can get it as an audiobook.
Oh, because I was going to suggest maybe that, if y'all wanted to, she said that, and just kind of get into like, maybe we all get the book, or whomever wanted to get the book, we get the book, read, and kind of like do like a little kind of book club, or something like that, or maybe another book. I'm pretty sure, I know Smooth William Reed, he may know of a good book that we can read that may help us get grounded, or anybody, you know what I'm saying? But I just thought that might be another good way to connect. I don't know. And I know I need to read more. I actually like reading, believe it or not. I actually can sit in the middle of my bed Indian style with my fireplace on and read for hours. That's like a stress reliever for me. But anywho, hey, so if y'all want to do that, then let us know. Final thoughts. Anybody have any final thoughts? Because we're going to end. Rebecca just gave a kind of a beautiful one with that, so anybody else have any final thoughts for the evening to add, or are we content with what she just shared?
I'm content, but I still want to share. Is that okay?
Of course it is.
I really didn't get to comment on the self-care, and my video was acting up, so I do apologize. I just think that, like you said, that if we're not okay, ultimately our babies aren't okay, right?
Right.
I think taking a moment to yourself and realizing the things that you need to make you function on a daily basis is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like taking stock and making that investment daily in yourself. So whether that's spiritual, emotional, or physical, investment, like, you just need to be mindful that you do need to make those investments in yourself and stop looking for that outward source. For others to make that distribution to you, because at the end of the year, like, you paying yourself forward for real. So that goes even with what Rebecca said about Sapiens, the book. We spend the 4 hours and like, all right, we got food, we good. And then, you move to agriculture and you're like, all right, now we need to learn how to rotate crops and, plan ahead. Like, you need to emotionally, physically, and spiritually do that for yourself as well daily. So just to remember that as an adult, as a person, for real.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said we all get the book, read, come from that perspective, and share. I think that would be good. I think that would. I'm going to get it. Ashley?
I want to leave us with an affirmation. And since we're talking about self-care and things like that, so I wanted to leave everybody on this note. And it's that I approve of myself. I am worthy of love and joy. My life is a gift. I will surround myself with positive people who will help bring out the best in me. I release my negative thoughts. I embrace positivity and optimism. I am healthy. I am well-groomed and confident. My inner peace and harmony is matched by my outer well-being.
Thank you. Well, we're going to end. I will, and then lastly, if y'all can, each one bring one next week if you can. Try to invite one other parent, to join next week with us on Thursday if you can.
Another game.
Yeah.
My only suggestion is that we just find like once parents do get in, is that we try to get them in so they don't be waiting.
Don't worry. I'm going. Don't worry, I'm going back to. I'm going to host them. We're going to figure that out. Hi, Rebecca.
I know.
Can y'all see shots fired? Shots fired.
Oh no, it wasn't Rebecca. Don't listen to him.
Okay.
That so was.
It's new. I just got to get used to it.
Hey, babe. Hey. All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all so much. Hi, Kaylee.
This is how we do. This is how we do remote learning. She went on remote learning looking just like that.
Okay.
I told her she looked like Pippi Longstockings, and she was like, "What is that?" So we've been watching Pippi Longstockings today. So.
Aww. Yeah, I have another call, and I still had to cook dinner, feed my kids. So, we'll holler at you all. We'll holler at you good folks later on. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, Kadar.